Welcome to An Exile. Can we talk for a second? What are you proud of? What are your accomplishments? What exactly did you do? I'm going somewhere because we're going back to the press secretary who is talking about these accomplishments of the Biden administration. If I were to say, what did you do? And you said, well, I'm a great piano player. And I said, well, what gender are you? As if that's a qualifier. Do you become worse of a piano player if you're a man or a white man? Do you become a better one if you're a black woman? Is it a bigger accomplishment? Or is it not the quality of your piano playing? That is what's significant.
I want to take the opportunity to lay out how diverse the president's cabinet has been, how diverse the president's administration has been.
First, we're going to talk about diverse. What does diverse mean? You have diversity, let's say at Thanksgiving dinner, you have some turkey and you have some green beans and you have some stuffing. There's like a diverse array of things. What is significant about diversity? Like, how is diversity our strength? Ideally, it means that you're coming at things, from a lot of different places. There is all woke external diversity, which means what different skin colors do you have? That's one form of diversity that you could be stronger by. Another one would be height. You see, I'm 6'8". And I'm telling you, I have a very different point of view than most of you do. You go to a concert when you're 6'8", or you walk into a place where all the girls are the same height and you're terrified to ask them out or whatever because you're 6'8". Or people make their houses with doorways too short, and my people, the tall people, never get enough height on the doorway. We bang our heads everywhere because of your insensitivity. Try sitting on an airplane with the amount of legroom that's been assigned to your people, and my people don't have enough legroom. And I don't even want to talk about what it's like to go into the bathroom. It's about as close to folding up a human being and cramping them in as you possibly can. Let your imagination go wild. Whatever it is, it's worse for me. Biden has certain kinds of diversity, but it doesn't have diversity of height. And even more important is my wife and I have similar values because, say, we're Christians, we're Republicans, we're family people, we're homeschoolers, we voted for Ronald Reagan. So it doesn't bring a lot of diversity to have my own opinion in the house because I have a female. Now, her being a female, we're completely different because men and women are completely different. I could never be a female, okay? But in a White House that is full of only Democrats or leftists, it is not a true sign of ideological diversity to have someone who believes the same thing but has a different skin color or gender.
The cabinet is majority people of color for the first time in history.
Having the most people of color, by the way, if you have like 3, they have the most because there have been so few. But the implication is that there weren't enough qualified people, or that somehow people were being pushed down because of their minority status. I just want you to know that it would take a long time to train these people, these diversity of people, to come up and be prepared to finally take these jobs for Biden to hire them. I'd say probably took 4 years, meaning the last president is who prepared these minorities for Biden to hire. Thank you, Trump.
The cabinet is majority female for the first time in history.
And majority female, I don't understand why that cabinet is that important, especially when you know how Biden treats women. I don't think it's good to have that many women around them because he puts his hands on their shoulders and he worships them. Like he buries his head into the back of their head and sniffs them. I would rather have him be around a bunch of old, fat, hairy men. It scares me that he would pack his cabinet with mostly women, probably young women, probably young, pretty women.
A majority of White House senior staff identify as female.
So identify as female, that's important. He could have a staff that is completely biological male, but they could identify as female, and he gets credit for something that, I mean, where's the diversity again? How many of those biological males that identify as female don't have male testosterone? They all have male testosterone unless they have a blocker of some kind or chemical, whatever. So you just don't get credit for diversity because you have, it'd be like what if I put together an art department of hardcore right-wing Republicans, but I hire only men who identify as women? Are you happy if they had, say, they were about lowering taxes and securing the border and securing, life and marriage, etc.?
40% of White House senior staff identify as part of the racially diverse communities.
So Dolezal, the lady who identifies as black, a white lady identifying as black, could be because they identify as a diverse. I mean, these are insane numbers. I'm sorry, but I'm not at all impressed with the White House staff. This is not a brag. This is not a brag. It might be a lateral move. If you lowered your standards to hire any of these people, then it probably is a lower quality standard, which might both explain Biden's performance and Karine's performance, who is by definition a really bad press secretary.
And a record 7 assistants to the president are openly LGBTQ+.
7 assistants are LGBTQ+. By the way, this is the most indicting stat for Biden, because you give the throwaway jobs to these assistants. They're basically grunts and slaves. They run around with a clipboard. They're treated like garbage. They're not a position of authority at all. They're just appointments.
How many people are working in jobs that don't do anything for the world or the company they're working for.
So that anyone who merely identified as LGBTQ could get an assistant job, but they would never make you vice president. They would never make you president. They would, you know what I mean? They would never give you a significant job of actual authoritative leadership. The only one that we know of where they did do that is Pete Buttigieg, and he's failing miserably at his job.
Focused on just making sure that our folks on the ground were all set, but could have spoken sooner about how strongly I felt about this incident, and that's a lesson learned for me.
This is not a big compliment that they have the highest amount of assistants, that they filled these diversity appointments, checked these boxes off. It is mean to do, even to the LGBTQ that you hired. Find the best qualified one instead and give them the highest job that you can find, but you couldn't find a high job for them. You went to and one of them got busted for stealing luggage.
So again, this is something that the president prides himself on.
Oh yeah, the president's very proud of it. No, the president doesn't even know who he is, and he's not running the country. He may take pride in it. I wish he took pride in hiring the best people for all these jobs. I get it. You might have to have a couple of diversity hires. I think his entire staff is entirely appointments based on politics and fashion and what Hollywood wants to see for their diversity cast, and no merit considered at all.
That he actually has taken action to show.
Oh, it's only to show. This is all a big show. This is only, that's why she's talking about it, is only for publicity. This is only for marketing to voters. This is not about merit or getting the job done. I want the job done. And I'm not confident that you checked off a bunch of boxes, essentially telling me how they prefer to dress does not give me confidence that you have a great legal staff or great military on board. It tells me nothing.
The diversity of this administration.
And your administration is not diverse. It is only diverse on shallow characteristics like race and sexual preference. When you truly get ideological diversity, if you ever got a religious moderate Muslim, a Reformed Jew, or a Hasidic Jew, or an Amish person, or a conservative evangelical as a lawyer, or a Pentecostal, or a Jehovah's Witness, or a Mormon or a Catholic, when you start getting actual devout conservative minds in there, you might get some different opinions that make you think about things that better reflect America. When you get an actual hardcore conservative farmer in there, a welder on staff, you might get some diversity of thought, but you don't want diversity of thought because you don't truly respect diversity. I do.
Thank you.
I'm Doug in Exile.